Good morning, everyone. We're going to have 5 minutes of courtesy to let everyone get into the meeting. Hello, everyone again. For those who did enter the meeting later, we're going to wait until 10:05, just a couple of more minutes to let everyone hop around, and then we will be starting with the meeting. So, hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for connecting to this final wrap-up event from the open market consultation of Theresa PCP project. We want to give you the final wrap-up of all the things that we've been discussing throughout all these events concerning the Theresa PCP and this consortium. First of all, I'd like to give a reminder about the house rules of this event. Remember that this event is going to be recorded, so participants who do not wish to appear, they are kindly requested to switch off their camera and use the chat for any communication. Also, concerning the chat, please write your questions in the chat, and we will answer as many as possible at the end of the event, at the Q&A part of this meeting. But also remember that they will be published and they will be publicly available in the webpage of the consortium. Remember that the recording and the presentation of this event will be made available, as you already have available all the recordings of the previous events. If you find that you're missing something and that we have not addressed a point during this event, please ask through the chat, or also review the previous videos of the previous events. And also remember that the list of the participants on this webinar are not going to be disseminated. As I said, welcome, and thank you very much for joining this open market consultation and this final event for our pre-commercial procurement. We really appreciate your interest and participation in this dialogue with you, with the market. Concerning Theresa, we have repeated this many times already, but I want to address it once more. Theresa is a European pre-commercial procurement, the PCP, project through which several public organizations want to collaborate with the market to develop and test innovative solutions which are not yet available commercially, at least not addressing the whole process that we are trying to address. As you know, our challenge is that conventional treatment of hospital wastewater, treatment of wastewater plants cannot remove many of the substances that the hospitals are pouring into the cities, our cities' wastewater. These pollutants then reach rivers, soil, and ultimately food and water. So this is becoming an increasing environmental and public health concern, and we want to address it before it comes into a problem. Our goal is to be able to help you developing modular, interoperable, and adaptable solutions, which should target all the priority contaminant groups and which must demonstrate technical feasibility, cost effectiveness, and readiness for integration into real-world structures. In order to be able to develop this, there are 7 public buyers from different countries across the European Union. We have partners from Estonia, Poland, Netherlands, Belgium, and Spain. And along with all these public buyers, which are all representing hospitals, we have also several supporting partners, which are giving us all the information we need about the whole process and the pre-commercial procurement process. As you know, through the different events, we've been giving you all the characteristics of the different hospitals, such as wastewater flow, infrastructure and monitoring, space limitations, and operational capacity. We know that there's a lot of information from all the different hospitals across the consortium, from the 7 hospitals that are the public buyers in this tender. But I don't want to give all the information back. Please remember that you have this information in the previous events, and also that it will be public during the tender process. So you will have access to all the information you may need about all the different hospitals, addressing the number of beds, if it's a single building or it's multiple buildings, the consumption, the water consumption that we have, the most important pollutants in its hospital. All the information you need will be made publicly available through our official channels. And also, you have any question, please get in touch with us and we will try to answer it to you. Just as a reminder also, even though we've been addressing this many times already, I'd like to remember you the phases and progress of this PCP. We will be starting phase 1, which will have the length of 3 months, and in which you will be presenting as your proposition of the possible solution that we want to address. You will have to elaborate the solution, design, and determine the approach taken to develop new solutions. And you will have to demonstrate the technical, financial, and commercial feasibility of the proposed concepts and approach. Please remember that all the proposals that you submit during this initial phase must address the whole process. We will not be taking partial solutions to the evaluation. They will be discarded. But we do not expect either to have a single company to address the whole process. So we expect you to make consortia that will be the ones that will actually be able to provide a full solution. Then we will, with the five of them will be passing this phase 1, and then 3 of them will be invited to phase 2, in which we will have to get to see a prototype, which will be able to make a small scale of the solution, and which will be tested in 2 of our buyers. It will not have to be installed. It will be tested in lab conditions, but it will be tested by us. And then from those 3 solutions, we will be picking 2 of them, which will have to actually provide us with a full prototype. This time will be installed into 4 of our public buyers. We will pick, as I said, 2 solutions. Each solution will be installed in 2 hospitals, and we will be testing the solution in a real case, in real life scenario. So, as I said, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for connecting to this wrap-up event. And now we are going to start talking about the summary of this open market consultation process and key findings. I'm going to leave the floor to our partners from Sanin, Bartos, and Alba. Well, thank you very much for your cooperation and your support in this stage, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Javier, for your introduction and reminders about Theresa Challenge and the PCP, which are very important, and we will be reminding in the end of the event. So now we are going to present our summary of the OMC process as a whole, because the OMC ends next 28th of February, but we have done this event because we have some of the options of the OMC process still open, and we want to share what key findings we have done in this time. Okay, so first of all, for anyone who hasn't come before into a Theresa event, why do we do an OMC in this PCPs? Because we want to open a dialogue about what functionalities, what business model, what requirements fits the better between what we expect and what is in the market. Also, we want to inform the market. That's why we do this kind of events, why we have a website, why we have a newsletter, any kind of platforms that we can make a better information into the market. And of course, to encourage possible suppliers to participate in the future PCP tender. And one of the things that Javier has said is facilitate consortium building among the suppliers, because we know that the solution that Theresa requires is a little bit complex, and maybe you need your own partners from your network, or you can contact them by the matchmaking tool that is available in the Theresa website. And what does the OMC offer as you as supplier for you as suppliers to know better the needs and priorities from Theresa Procure? That there is a lot of information in the Theresa website that I encourage you to read or reread. You can obtain information about the future of the PCP and the how it will be the future tender, future call for tenders. And one of the most important things is making your entity known to the procurers and the potential collaborator for this challenge. And for us as procurers to cross-check and clarify any assumption that we have for the call of tenders, obtain any kind of new information from the market that we are going to share in this event, and to make potentially interested buyers aware of the Theresa challenge. A quick overview of the whole OMC program. First of all, the 5 national events that we have had in January and February. We have 227 people registered, that 188 finally attending in the events. In this event, we have the last check I did were 64 people registered. We are now here 42. We have had 35 different companies, public and private, that attended the national events. In this event, we have in the last check about 30. And we have had 14 company pitches in total. Okay, in this event, there won't be any company pitches because the most important thing is sharing the key findings that we have found. Of course, I will repeat this, and my partner Alba will repeat this. Any information that will be shared in this event is anonymized, is generalized. Okay, so as we have informed the companies, their information won't be shared. Okay. About the Q&A, I have write down the most frequent question in our Q&A section is the difference about phase 2 and phase 3 that Javier already told you. In phase 2, there will be a develop of the prototype, okay, that you have to demonstrate in lab conditions. And later in the phase 3, it will be a real world validation with 2 final solutions for different hospitals, okay? We also have question about the hospital constraints and limitation. I have to say that in each event, in national event session that we have had, the local hospital have present their particular cases, and the recordings are in the Theresa website repository. Okay, and in the Theresa YouTube channel, you have separate videos for each hospital context. Okay, and for the technical part of each event, so it's easier. You don't have to watch the whole event. You can watch only the hospital context in each session. Okay, and this will be further detailed in the tender documents. Okay, and about the consortium formation, that is a very remarkable thing in the Theresa challenge. If your solution requires any collaboration with another partner for meeting the requirements that Theresa need, you will need to submit a joint proposal for the tender. Okay, you can use the matchmaking tool that we have in the Theresa website, or of course your own network. But this is a very important topic for the future tenders. About the request for information questionnaire or the EU survey, 13 different companies fully answered the request for information questionnaire. We have had another questionnaire, but it's partially they are partially complete. And we have this is public news now. We have extended the schedule for the last day that you can send EU survey response will be February 28th. Okay, because we have seen that many of the answer have been in the last 15-20 days, and we want to let a couple of days more. So if you have any answer that can give us more information about your technology, they are very appreciated. About the bilateral meetings, we have had 9 different bilateral meetings with different companies. About the key market findings in these bilateral meetings is that individual treatment technologies demonstrate already a high maturity technology readiness level, about 8 or 9. In some of them, industrial or municipal application. But as Javier has said before, the integration as complete system specifically for hospital wastewater remains at experimental stage. A lower TRL, about 4, 5, 6. Okay. Suppliers have mainly adopted two fundamentally different approaches, that is the source separation, and we have called the end of pipe approach, which is excellent for us as procurer, because each one offers distinct advantage that may be more suitable depending on the specific needs of each hospital. Okay, both this is important. Both approaches can effectively compete in the tenders. Okay, there's no problem, of course. And we have seen that ultra priority contaminants can be addressed, but some of the solutions need technology adaptation or further research and development to fully meet requirements, which is why we do a PCP. Okay, and this has been the overview of the OMC program, the Q&A, the questionnaire, the bilateral, etc. All the possibilities that we have in the OMC. And now my colleague Alba will talk about the key technical and functional findings of the OMC as a whole. So Alba, it's the floor.
Thank you very much, Bartos. And hello, everyone. So today I would like to walk you through what we have actually learned from the open market consultation in terms of numbers and in terms of market reality. So the first important takeaway here is the market is not starting from zero. There are technically viable solutions already available for hospital wastewater treatment, addressing pharmaceuticals and antimicrobial resistance. However, maturity changes, as Bartos said, when we move from individual components to fully integrated systems. Single technologies are often highly mature, as we see technology readiness level being 8 or 9, but when suppliers integrate them into complete hospital scale solutions, maturity typically drops to intermediate levels around technology readiness level 5 or 6. So the main message here is technology exists. What is still missing is robust, integrate, modular hospital scale validation. Go on with the next slide, please, Bartos. Okay. About treatment performance, when we analyze removal performance, a very clear pattern emerged. High performance almost always comes from hybrid systems, combinations of biological treatment, membranes, absorption, or advanced oxidation. The market consistently reports removal rates above 90% for priority antibiotics. For cytostatics, we see slightly wider ranges, typically above 80% and often about 90%. For general contaminants of emerging concern, reported values go up to 95%, and for resistant bacteria up to 4-log reduction, which corresponds to 99.99%. Very important thing is that no supplier indicated that any of the contaminants in the target list we provided could be technically impossible to reduce or eliminate. So there were no go areas identified. That said, highly removal almost always implies higher energy consumption and higher operating costs. The performance cost relationship here is clear. About the performance structure, 3 consistent performance tiers emerge: baseline systems, 80 to 90% removal, advanced high resistance, 90 to 95% removal, and targeted or segregated streams, 99 to 100%. So I think this is all of this slide. We can move on. Barros, please. Thank you. About energy consumption, we saw basic systems or targeted capture solutions tend to consume less than 0.3 kilowatt hours per cubic meter. Biological systems combined with membranes are usually between 0.5 and 1.5 kilowatt hour per cubic meter. And when advanced oxidation is introduced intensively, energy consumption can rise to between 1.5 and 3.5 kilowatt hour per cubic meter. Across the consultation, we learned advanced oxidation processes were consistently identified as the main energy driver. So if we aim for very high removal rates, 95% and above, energy becomes a central consideration. Let's move on, please. Okay. About cost signals for the market. When it comes to capital expenditure, the ranges are wide, and this reflects the modularity of the solutions. Full modular treatment plants can range from around 500 to more than 2 million euros per site. Nature-based or hybrid systems are generally lower, between 400,000 and 800,000 euros. Point source capture systems are significantly cheaper, but of course they address only specific streams. On the other side, digital platforms range broadly depending on complexity and integration depth. Now, regarding operating expenditure, we see that biological systems typically fall between 20,000 and 80,000 euros per year. Advanced systems can exceed 150,000 euros annually, and energy alone often represents 30 to 50% of operating cost. However, and this is important, not all suppliers provided detailed operating expenditure breakdowns. So I would like to pause here and take this opportunity to invite all the participating companies. If you have additional capital and operating expenditure data, especially detailed breakdowns of energy, cost per cubic meter treated, consumables, we strongly encourage you to share it with us. You have until the 28th of February, as my colleague Bart said, to provide complementary information. Always please remember, more transparency here will directly strengthen the next steps of the pre-commercial procurement process. So let's go on, please. About monitoring and digital capabilities, we see 3 levels in the market. At the basic level, manual sampling and laboratory-based monitoring. It implies external lab analysis, but also low cost, low responsiveness. Then an intermediate level is online monitoring of operational parameters such as pH, total organic carbon, ultraviolet absorbance, turbidity, etc. And at the most advanced level, predictive or artificial intelligence-based approaches, including digital twins and early warning systems. So real-time monitoring, most suppliers today are operating at the intermediate level. Real-time monitoring of complex pharmaceuticals compounds remain technically immature, as we have seen. So next slide, please, Bartos. Nice. Now we are going to talk about constraints and risks. Since across all discussions, the same constraints reappeared. Solids management, for example, is very interesting. Without proper treatment, system performance can drop sharply. On the other side, we have integration with hospital information technology systems, which is a significant risky area. Application programming interface availability is often decisive. Small installations tend to be capital intensive, although serial deployment could reduce cost significantly. And lastly, an antimicrobial resistance treatment remains one of the most complex technical areas, requiring intensive processes and a long process of validation. Okay, we can go on, please. About the business and delivery models, we have assessed hybrid amortization, equipment service base, typically 5-year contracts, and then monitoring and asset management. So a scale up almost always depend on industrial partners. Yes. Are the conclusions we have come with through the surveys and bilateral discussions. We can go on, please. Then main risks and gaps. We have talked with the companies, researchers group, and everyone who participated on this process. And this was constantly brought up to us. The limited full-scale hospital validation, monitoring limitations for advanced compounds, solids and byproduct handling, and IT integration complexity. Well, we can move on. Then, so to summarize, what does all of this tell us? The market is technically capable. Removal rates above 90% for antibiotics are achievable. For log antimicrobial resistant reduction is achievable. But the challenge is not whether technology exists. The challenge is demonstrating long-term performance, integration, stability, scalability, and economic viability in real hospital environments. And this is precisely why the pre-commercial procurement instrument is so relevant. It allows us to de-risk iteration, to validate performance stability, to test scalability, and to confirm economic feasibility before large-scale deployment. We also highlighted high removal equals higher energy and operational costs, and that monitoring and integration are becoming very important as well. Well, to conclude all of this, the open market consultation has confirmed that the market is ready, but system level validation, integration of different technologies, and long-term performance are key challenges ahead. The insights we gathered over these past months give us a solid evidence-based foundation for the next steps. With that, we'll now hand over to my colleague Bardes, who will take you through the what is next section of this presentation. Thank you very, very much, and I hope to see you all in the call for tenders.
Thank you so much, Alba. So I'm going to tell you about the what's next after these key findings of the OMC. What happens next in the PCP or in the Theresa PCP? I can see the chat or the Q&A. I remind you that you can post any question and it will be answered in the chat or in the end of the event. Okay. So after these findings, what happens next? We have some these key dates in some other events. We are here. Okay, we are in the open market consultation that started in December 2025, and it ends this week on the 28th of February. And between these dates, between February and May, we will be with the information we have gathered in the OMC. We are already preparing the call for tenders. Okay, and in May 2026 will be the tender publication, and after the tender publication, it comes the evaluation of any bids that we have, and of course the contract award. That, as Javier said in the beginning of the event, there are three different phases in Theresa. Okay, in the phase 1, that will be about 3 months. Okay, from January 2027 to March 2027 will be the phase 1, the solution design. After that, we will go into the phase 2, into the prototype development. Okay, as I said before, lab environmental prototype development. And after that, in August 2028 and May 2029, it will be the real environment validation. Okay, this is the timeline of the Theresa PCP. As you are seeing, is 3 years. Okay, from the tender publication to the end of the phase 3. So we hope that we see you in the call for tenders. And the final recommendation before going to the Luna part and a final poll that to gather more information. The consortium information is the key for success in the Theresa PCP, as I said before, with your own network, with companies from the matchmaking tool, okay, that you can in Spain we say sleep in the flight. You can sleep. You have to contact other people. You cannot wait to them to contact you. If you detect in the matchmaking or in your own network, of course, you can directly contact them. You have the email of the main contact person in the matchmaking tool, okay, that it will be updated in the following days. And as soon as we have more requests for information questionnaire with the information necessary for the matchmaking tool, you can update, you will see the updated matchmaking tool. As we said, it's a complex solution. We need a water treatment plus the monitorization. Okay, you have partners in the matchmaking tool. Don't forget to visit the website repository. Okay, I'm going to share this part. Okay. Okay. Here it is, the repository part in the Theresa website. Here you have the recordings of every event in the YouTube channel. You also have, as I said before, the technical part and the hospital context part. You have here the ping, the main OMC presentation. This document is very, very important. It has the most accurate information about the Theresa PCP in a 40-page document. You have all the information about the hospital, our vision, about the requirements, okay, operational, tentative, I have to say tentative, functional and social requirements that may have changed in the call for tenders, but this is the scope document. Of course, the link to the questionnaire and a little brochure of the Theresa PCP, so you can send this to any partner that you may know, and set the collaboration with them if they don't know about the Theresa challenge. You here have a QR for the Theresa newsletter, so you remain updated in all new in the timeline for the Theresa PCP. As I said before, the request for information has been extended until February 28th. So we encourage you to send us your questionnaire. We have said this before in other events. We prefer quality over quantity. Okay, we know that the questionnaire is a long questionnaire, but we want to know your strengths. Okay, we need to know any kind of information that you have and focus on your strengths. And reminder, survey submission is not tender participation. Okay, I don't think that I have to remind this, but for the record, participation in the survey, in the request for information, is not tender participation. It will be open in May 2026, as we have said. And after this final recommendation, reminders, in the Theresa PCP, we have shared the key findings of the OMC so far. As I said before, this OMC ends in the February 28th. We don't have time for more bilateral meetings. Okay, I have to. I don't have said this in the beginning, but we are not doing more bilateral meetings, but we are receiving more requests for information questionnaires. And after these reminders, I'm going to leave the stage for Luna, for my colleague Luna, from Healthcare Without Harm, that she will share a poll for the audience. And after that, I haven't seen the chat. I don't know if we have a Q&A, but we will have the closing remarks and the goodbye from the Navarra team and from the Theresa team. Okay, so Luna, I hope you are here. I'm going to give you the powers and the for the moderator, Luna. Okay, here is Isabella. Okay, Luna, here you are. Okay. Now you may have power for enable your microphone and share anything that you want to share.
Okay, thank you, Bartosz. So I'm going to be quick. As part of our work package with IETU from Poland, we're working on developing the evaluation methods, which includes the KPIs. And we would like your opinion and feedback on some of the mandatory KPIs that we are currently developing. This doesn't include the other KPIs, which are on a scoring basis and can be reviewed across PCP phases. This is the mandatory KPIs that are evaluated on a pass-fail basis. And because it's very important, we would like to also have your say in what we're developing and to make sure that it's realistic at the end of the day. I'm going to leave it in the chat, but I think Bartosz, you can also share it by email afterwards. It's on form type. Okay, yeah, I shared it. So please take a look. Some of these questions you're already familiar with, some of them not really. So if you have any comments towards the end of the survey, there's an open feedback comment. You can leave anything there. You can also answer the questions or individuals, or if you're doing it as a joint two companies, you can answer them together. So yeah, that's it. We would just like your feedback on the KPIs we are developing.
Okay, thank you so much, Luna. Reminding that this recording will be in the Theresa website. You can watch it anytime you want. If you want to reread any key finding that Alba has shared or any reminding, please visit the Theresa website repository that you may find any kind of information that you have. Okay, so we can go to the I've seen the chat and the Q&A. We have no question. We have a comment from Robert. Okay, that it's a bit long. Maybe we can answer this comment publishly into the Q&A repository. That I remember that every question that has been question into the Theresa partners will be there. Okay, any kind of information that we receive will be in the Q&A repository, that it will be updated after answers being reviewed. Okay, so Luna, okay, answer with a question to Robert. So maybe we can have the question answered in the public repository in the Theresa website. So as Navarra Biomed, we as a project coordinator, if you want to do some closing remarks. And thanks all of you to be here for my part, from Sunny part, and all the Theresa partners. And I leave you the floor to the Navarra Government.
Thank you very much, Bartos. Well, either we've been perfectly clear or we have smashed your capacity of concentration and we have no questions at all. Just, I would like just to thank you all for your attendance to this event. Remind you to subscribe to our newsletter to be up to date with all the different phases of this project. Remind you that we have until the 28th of February for you to send us your surveys, as Bartos and Alba said, and that we will be starting with the first phase around May this year. So, as I said, thank you very much for your attendance. Please keep in touch, keep up to date with all our public information routes. And we hope to see you, as Alba said, during the tender process with your proposals. And we hope that we will have trouble trying to select the 5 ones that are going to be selected for the first phase. I don't want to keep you any longer. As I said, thank you, and we'll be in touch. Okay, bye.
Bye, thank you.